Question from one of my subscribers, Lloyd Hawley. Do you believe in strength standards for natural lifters? For example, do you think every healthy male could get a 315-pound bench press? What are your natural standards for every conventional barbell lift? And thank you for your channel. It is very underrated with my strength and my information. First of all, I would like to say thank you. That means a lot for me to be underrated. I am pretty underrated, actually. My strength is underrated. My information is underrated. I agree. I mean, sure, there are people better than me, but I try. I've been doing this for long. I give myself credit. But anyway, and thank you. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. Anyway, yes. Strength standards. I do believe almost every normal size, unless you're very small, every normal size, when you bulk up to a healthy weight, not obese, every normal size male could bench press 315 if you're not obese. That could be a life goal. Here are my strength standards. Minimum this is intermediate. Every intermediate lifter with the worst genetics possible, or every intermediate lifter could hit a 225-pound bench, 315-pound squat, 405-pound deadlift. Or again, that world within the 5 years of proper training and being healthy, as in not being obese, and proper training and being healthy and still being able to be fit. And then this is the limit for average genetics, healthy body fat, healthy body weight, and just alright genetics. Every male could bench 300, squat 400, deadlift 500. And do I think every male could bench 315? If you could get in the right body fat, not obese, and the right training, as in spend 10, 20 years, or even less than that, or just have proper training, nutrition, and body fat, or even under 5 years, or under 10 years, yes, you could bench 315. Okay, but let me just give a range for each lift. Not just bench, squat, and deadlift. I'll give other barbell lifts I feel important. Bench. The lower end of the spectrum, every male could bench 225 to 275. That's really the lowest end. And higher end, every male could bench 275 to 315. I mean, the average 275 to 315, just average genetics. And anyone greater than that, which is the average population, and I'm talking about fit people, or people on the heavier side, anyone could bench in natural. Anyone could bench 315, in the upper echelon, 405. Or 365 to 315 to 365, you're a little above average genetics. Anyone can do that. And anyone who has good genetics, really, you could bench 365 to 405. If you're above 405, you're a little of the best. I'm talking about fit people. Or anyone who does above 405, you're really up there. And this is anyone who's either fit doing this, or if you're fat doing this, you're just really strong still. 405. And I'm talking about healthy males. Or if you're 405 and not that fit, you can still do it healthy. And you're natural doing 405, that's still a lot. Or greater than 405. That's up there. So the range is really 225 is the lowest, but 225 to 405. That's the range for bench. Anything of, I don't think anyone can get below a 225 bench. Any male. And as for bench, 405, you're genetically gifted pretty much. If you get more than 405, you're beyond genetically gifted. Alright. Squat. I would say 225 for maybe 10, 20. I would say 315 is the minimum anyone could get. Anyone could get 315. 315 squat is like a 225 bench. 405 is 365 is average too. 315 to 365, you're the lower echelon. And then that's the lower. That means you're not squatting enough. But 405, 365 to 405, any normal male could get. 405 to 450, that's average. That's above average. 450 to 500, that's a little above average. 500 to 550, 500 to 550, you're actually above average. You're actually gifted, kind of, in the squat. And 550 to 600, you're pretty much genetic elite. Genetic elite would be like 600 in the squat. I mean without wraps. 600. 600 in the squat's like 405 in the bench. And anything above 600, I'm talking about healthy males. And even if you're fat, that's still, taking your natural, that's still strong. I'm not talking obese either, because food is highly anabolic. Because obese could, you're obviously very strong and gifted in strength, but it's almost as anabolic as taking steroids in some cases. So 600 is the minimum of gifted, but like what would the minimum of extremely gifted? Anything above a 4 or 5 bench, like 450 and 500 squat, like 650, 675, 700, 750. And then you have people squatting 800 no wraps. And then you have people benching 600. That's really up there. And then people squatting 900. But normally you've never seen a lean or a healthy male that's natural squat 900. You normally see SHW squat 900 that are natural. But anyway, what else? Alright, and deadlift. Okay. Deadlift. Pretty much the same thing as squat. Actually, no, a little better, actually. 315 is like the minimum. 405 is like start of average. Intermediate is like start of intermediate. And I think every male could aspire, every healthy male that just wants to be fit could aspire to bench 315, squat 405, deadlift 500. In fact, I think maybe even squat 425, deadlift 550. That might even be better than benching. And yeah, that might be even better. But 500 deadlift. You might deadlift 500 and 400 squat. You might get that. before or after you bench 315. And 500 deadlift might come before or after you squat 400. And 500 to 550 deadlift, that's more of a intermediate. I mean, that's more pretty good actually. Then 550 to 600 deadlift, that's almost in the advanced. Anything above 600 deadlift, you're pretty good actually. So I would say like more of the 650 deadlift range, unless you're not built to deadlift, because deadlift is also a highly leveraged lift too. If you're not built to deadlift, then go off what you can squat. So if you're built to deadlift, then maybe 600 or 650 would mean you're gifted in the deadlift, taking you're a healthy male. 600, because if a 600 squat means you're gifted, 650, 700 deadlift means you're gifted. 650 means you're good genetics. 650 deadlift is like a 550 squat, which is like a 365 bench, which means you're above average good genetics. And a 405 bench, which is a 600 squat, which is a 700 deadlift, which means you're genetic elite for natural, taking your fit. Alright, other lifts. Honorable mentions. Strict overhead press. Standing or seated. I would say 135 is basically the 225 bench. Anyone should get it, that's average. And I would quickly say that 185 is on the good side. That's like a 275 pound, 275 pound bench. And what's really on the 365 pound, 350 pound bench mark, or more of a little over 315 pound bench? Get a 225 pound overhead press, strict, standing or seated. And then you want to get to like 250, 275. 225 is good. That means you're above average. 250, 275, that means you're good genetics. And elite, I would say, is like 275, 300, 315. 315 is like a 450 bench, 700 squat, 800 deadlift. 315 is the limit. So you really want to get up to 315. For barbell rows, you want to get like 315 for sets of 10. 225, 225 for 185 for beginners is for intermediate. You want to get 185 for beginners. And then you want to get 225 for intermediate. 275 is good. 315 is like, for sets of 10, is like good genetic, is what is pretty much the limit. And then anything above that, you have a very strong back, like 365, 405. That's very up there. Take it that Larry Wheels has done 500 for sets of 10. And doing 365 and 405 for sets of 10, that's very up there. So 315 is kind of the limit for sets of 10. That means you have a very strong back for barbell rows. Alright, so I mentioned squat, bench, deadlift, overhead press, barbell rows. Alright, what other exercise? if you request it, or I will in the future, I'll make multiple part one of these, or I'll make a different part for bodyweight exercises, because I value those ones too, and I also do those. And I'll make a part for some assistance exercises, if you want me to make strength standards for assistance exercises. This is 15 minutes. These are my strength standards for the bench, the squat, the deadlift, the overhead press, and the barbell row. Yeah, deadlift, like I said, deadlift 700 is kind of like genetic elite. 600 is every healthy male could get. If the minimum for health, now I could just summarize. Healthy males, 220, 315 bench, 405 squat, 500 deadlift, pretty much 200 strict overhead press, 225 barbell row for 10 sets of 10, or 200 for sets of 10. And I'll do the top limit. 405 bench, 600 squat, no wraps, 700 deadlift, about like 275 strict shoulder press, and 315, 315 or maybe even 275 to lower it, barbell rows for sets of 10. No, 315. 275 would be easy. And to make it even more elite, if you're extremely top echelon, make it like a 315 strict overhead press, a 500 bench, or 450 to 500 bench, a 700 to 800 deadlift. This is like if you're extremely crazy. 700 to 800 squat, 600 to 700 squat, or 700 to 800. Or maybe a little more than 315 on shoulder press, or 315 to 405 barbell row for sets of 10. Alright, that's pretty much it. Those are my strength standards. So there really is no limit. It all depends on what body weight you're willing to get to, how healthy you're willing to do it, and how much body weight you're willing to gain, how much muscle you're willing to have, how much body fat you're willing to carry, how healthy you're willing to do, how much you're willing to push, what limits you're willing to set, how long you're willing to do this for. So get at it. If you want more of these, put it on the comment below. Put on the comment below. Let me hear some of your numbers on these lifts. Tell me what you think of this video. Share me your opinion. And give me some of your strength standards. So let me hear it. Alright, peace out.